Dear Diary, it was the dawn of the second day, and there was a funeral wreath in the lobby from the kidnapper. Very good of the corpse-to-be providing his or her own wreath. Makes the arrangements much easier. Of course, in my mind, the arrangements were nothing more than a trunk and a shovel. The wreath would look nice on my mantle, though. The deciduous person in the lobby pulled me aside to ask me an earnest question.
Does this face say America's Most Wanted to you?
I let him know he had a passing resemblance to Glenn Stewart Godwin, and that seemed to please him enough to let me go. I went into the ticket booth to find a note that was addressed to me. It was from the geriatric mutant Ninja Turtle, telling me to meet with him in the projection room at my earliest convenience. I resolved not to see him for the rest of the day. Also in the ticket booth there were a bunch of pamphlets talking about the kidnapping and how the fantasy cruiser was determined to find her using all of his strength. Also, apparently his name was Brady Armstrong. The case against this man was ever mounting. In the lobby I noticed a cutout of Bradley Lim's strength, so I committed an act of petty vandalism on him, making him into a pirate. If he won't be a boat, I can at least make him a boatswain. Observing my handiwork, I had a brilliant idea, so I sprinted over to the human marketing machine to ask her if she would sponsor a cinematic recreation of a Disney theme park ride. Tragically, she was nowhere to be seen. She had left her purse behind, though. Good thing I have no respect for people's privacy or personal boundaries. The only thing of note that I'd found, besides all the money, was that she'd been the one to order the funeral wreath that I'd found in the lobby that morning. Either she was the kidnapper, or she had ordered the flowers as a publicity stunt, and I had been lied to. She became my prime suspect either way. While I was there, I decided to steal a couple of skeleton keys from the drawer, for plot convenience's sake. Around that time, I felt the sudden need to do a magic trick. Conveniently, one was already set up on the stage. A couple of cages were hanging from chains up in the ceiling, and when I walked over to them, I discovered that the cage's ability to be held up by chains was just an illusion, and that they were secretly connected to the ground. I was pleased with this trickery, but I noticed that the cages had gone a step further, and included a ladder down into the stage as well. I daringly climbed down into the dark unknown, only to be met by a disappointingly small wooden room. There wasn't even so much as an altar. What I did see, however, was a broken light and bare wires sticking out of the wall. It formed quite an effective peephole. Gazing into the hole of peep, I spotted the disembodied legs of someone who treated rope as a fashion statement. Then the legs moved, and I realized that this person was still alive. I called out that their fashion sense was stupid and that rope is dumb, but they didn't respond. Instead, the world decided to punish me by locking me in the dreary wooden room. They forgot to lock the secret floor door, though, so I just took that. Down in this double secret room, I discovered a secret door to a triple secret room where the mysterious rope person was. If I was going to insult their fashion sense, I would have to solve it somehow. Truly a puzzle worthy of a master detective. The door swung open to reveal a head-slicing device. If this was intended to be a death trap, it was very ineffectual, as I felt no need to load myself into it. I checked around for the sentient lower extremities, but no luck. Apparently being tied up and lacking a torso are not proper deterrents for a sprinter's heart. I did find this neato shoe and some pizza boxes, though. The pizza tasted like wet cardboard, and the sneaker didn't taste much better. I tossed out the box when I was done, and I went through the blatant symbolism. It led back into the storeroom, where someone had hooked a car battery up to the gate. That someone clearly hadn't noticed that I have my nipples clamped to a tanker truck's 12-volt deep cycle 24 hours a day. When I got up the steps, I was met by Grady Triceratops. He probably didn't have anything important to say, so I pushed past him. It almost physically hurt to break my promise, but I caved and went to the ticket booth to get the mandatory story dialogue out of the way. When I got there, I told the Turtlemancer about the secret room and how I had cleaned it up for him. He suddenly got very mad and shouted at me for removing evidence that could have convinced the police to postpone the demolition. I shouted back that the pizza was crap and he would have done the same thing. He shouted that he loves that pizza and that the owner is a lovely man. I just shouted noises at him and punched him again. Talking to that man is tiring work. I should go take a nap.